Have you ever wondered what it takes to bring a brilliant app idea to life? In today's fast paced digital world, mobile apps have become an integral part of our daily lives. From social networking to productivity tools, there's an app for almost everything. And with over 3 million apps on the Google Play Store and over 1.9 on the Apple App Store, it's clear that mobile app development is booming. But before you dive into coding your next big idea, there's one crucial question you need to answer: native or cross platform development? Choosing the right approach can make or break your app's success. So today, we'll help you navigate this important decision and set you on the path to creating a successful app. So, let's start with the basics. What is native development? Native development is developing a mobile application for a single platform or operating system, whether Android or iOS, and it is usually coded in a specific programming language. For Android, you either use the Java language or the more recent Kotlin to develop a native app, while for iOS, you choose between Objective-C and Swift. What about cross-platform or multi-platform development? Cross-platform development is simply building a mobile application for numerous platforms or operating systems with one code base. And there are various open source frameworks available for this. For example, we have Flutter, React Native, and Kotlin multi-platform. Now, with the basics covered, let's quickly explore the strengths and weaknesses of each approach, starting with the pros of native development. Number 1, better stability. Whether you're developing an Android app or an iOS app, you will work with SDKs. Thankfully, Apple and Google continually provide support and tools for their operating systems, including SDKs, interface elements, and other key development tools. And due to this, native apps are more stable in terms of updates and maintenance. Number 2, high performance. Native mobile apps offer better performance than cross-platform apps, mainly because they are optimized for a single platform. The core programming language and APIs used take full advantage of the smartphone's operating system, making them faster, more efficient, and more responsive. Take Spotify as an example. Its native development ensures seamless music streaming with little to no performance issues. Number 3, better user experience. Developing native apps means using native SDKs and focusing on a specific platform or operating system. This helps native apps deliver a superior user experience because they have full access to the device's hardware and functionalities. This includes features like camera integration, GPS location support, and the ability to send push notifications, all of which contribute to a more seamless and engaging user experience. Number 4, more advanced security. Now, let's talk about security. Native apps are built with their host platform's specific tools and languages, making it harder for intruders to find weaknesses in the walls. They are also tightly integrated with the device's security system, giving them easy access to the built-in security features like advanced encryption to deliver a more secure system. Do you have a great app idea and need help with the next steps to take? HeyFlutter is here to help. At HeyFlutter.com, we specialize in transforming ideas into impactful digital solutions. We also offer free consultations to help you understand the development process and give you a roadmap from concept to launch. Our well-experienced team of experts are ready to collaborate with you through every step to deliver your product successfully and in no time. Are you ready to bring that vision to life? Book a consultation session today. Go to heyflutter.com/consultation, fill in your details, and let's launch that awesome idea. Okay, that's it for the pros of native development. What about the cons? Let's look at them now. Number 1, more means more. One well-known economic principle is, if you want to sell a product better, your priority should be reaching as many customers as possible. This principle becomes a bit difficult when you decide to go the native route, because to reach more, you need to create multiple code bases to support iOS, Android, and other available platforms. This means you will need separate teams with different sets of skills, which then add up to the time and cost of development. Number 2, the challenge of big teams. We've already established that with native apps, more means more in terms of effort, time, and more hands on deck. Building a mobile native application for multiple platforms requires a large team, and managing such teams can be challenging. For example, companies like Uber have dedicated teams for their iOS and Android apps, making communication a little bit difficult. Why? Communication and collaboration are key to successful teamwork, and the more people you have working on one project, the harder it is to communicate and collaborate. Number 3, higher costs. Yes, we talked about cost in the first con for native development. This is because we mostly overlook the fact that software costs continue even after the release of an application. During the maintenance stage, most of the work on the app is said to be completed, but updating and maintaining an app built on numerous platforms becomes more expensive. This will drive the overall cost higher than that of the cross-platform solution. Number 4. Risk of different logic for different platforms. Native apps are specific to a platform and use the platform's unique language. This means code written for one mobile platform, say Android, will not work directly on another platform. For instance, in some cases, Android and iOS apps might show different prices for the same item because of a mistake in calculating the discount in the individual languages. This makes a case for cross-platform development, as with one code, you are sure of a single logic for all platforms. Now we've looked at some of the pros and cons of using native development for your app. Let's look at the cross-platform side, starting with the pros. Number 1. Faster development. Unlike native development, cross-platform development does not require multiple code bases or teams. In cross-platform development, the same code is reused for different operating systems with slight changes. You will also not need to test large amounts of code when working using the cross-platform route. This saves a considerable amount of time and accelerates the development process. Number 2. Cost effectiveness. Cross-platform apps are cheaper to develop and maintain when compared to the native apps because they require a single team of developers working on one code base. This single code base reuses most of its logic or code for multiple platforms, shortening the development cycle and reducing costs. Also, even after a successful launch or release, maintaining a cross-platform app will not be as expensive as a native app for the same reason. Number 3. Easy maintenance. Since cross-platform apps are faster and cheaper to develop, deploying them becomes easier on both platforms. Also, the ease of providing updates and maintenance for cross-platform apps improves as developers only have to update and fix available bugs on one code base. This provides a more consistent system and code across the various platforms. Number 4. Easy access to developers. To successfully build a cross-platform application, you need access to developers with advanced expertise in the field. And thanks to cross-platform technologies like React Native, it has gotten easier to find experts for hybrid mobile apps. Furthermore, Flutter's speedy rise in the industry has also opened more opportunities for skilled developers who don't just specialize in developing one native app. Alright, cross-platform development, as we can see, is a great approach to app development. However, some cons exist with choosing this route. Let's look at some of them. Number 1. Performance issues. Some developers might argue that cross-platform applications have lower performance when compared with native applications. Is this true or a myth? Well, maybe. If cross-platform development is not done correctly, performance issues will definitely occur. Well, not to say that this won't happen with the native apps, but with cross-platform apps, you are deploying a universal solution for multiple platforms. This comes with compromises like heavier power consumption, which do not usually happen in native apps. So, much care must be taken. Number 2. Difficult to access native device features. Remember, one of the perks of native development was easy and direct access to the host device's features like camera and microphone. This is not the case with cross-platform development. Cross-platform technologies like React Native and Flutter access such features through bridge APIs, typically written in the native language of the operating system, making the process a bit more tedious when compared to the native development. Number 3. Functionality constraints. While cross-platform apps use the same code, they might need some tweaks to look and work their best on iPhones, Android phones, or tablets. These tweaks require more effort from the mobile development team to handle the individual differences for the multiple platform devices. This may cause difficulties for the team in implementing the app's features, leading to some functionality constraints, which is not usually the case with native development. Number 4. Delayed feature updates. Native apps use the device's SDK and the native language of the operating system directly. So whenever there's an update or a change on the SDK, native apps are quickly updated too. On the other hand, cross-platform apps require separate updates to access the latest features or updates, causing a delay when new updates or features are released. Now that we've looked at the pros and cons of both native and cross-platform development, you may still have one question: which do I choose for my next project? Before we can give a solid answer to that, it is important to know when to choose native development and when to choose cross-platform development. We'll consider 3 main parameters in answering this. Number 1, time to market. number 2, performance, and number 3, development costs. So let's begin. Time to market. If you want to ship a product or a mobile application quickly and get user feedback faster, then cross-platform development should be your choice because it is quick to build and iterate. Native development, on the other hand, would take more time to develop and maintain, especially if the mobile app will be on multiple platforms. Next, performance. Performance optimization is an important aspect of mobile development, especially when dealing with heavy computing apps like games. So, for apps that need accelerated performance, native development will be the best fit. This is because using cross-platform development in this scenario would require more effort in performance optimization for multiple platforms. And finally, development costs. In developing any app, the budget is an important aspect to consider before starting. How much money is available to spend to see this project to its release? Cross-platform is the best fit for you if you have a little budget, as you only need a small development team that could reuse the code for the different platforms. However, if you have a huge budget, you can choose the native development approach. In conclusion, one should consider all aspects mentioned earlier before choosing between native and cross-platform development. Your project's goals and feature list, target audience, the time to market for your project, and the budget should all be carefully thought of to make the best decision. As we have seen, both approaches have their strengths and weaknesses, and what matters is your unique needs, as they determine whether you are better off focusing on a single operating system using the native development route or having a small team to build an app that will run on multiple platforms from one code base using the cross-platform development route. Nevertheless, don't go building an app in isolation. The mobile development world is always changing, so stay in touch with the community. Knowing the latest trends will help you pick the best approach for your specific project. Before you go, we'd like to hear from you. What approach do you think is better, native or cross-platform development? And if you had all the resources available, which would you choose? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video very helpful, please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to turn on the notification bell to be notified of our new content.